Welcome to the deep dive. Today we're going to unpack something really interesting. It blends tradition, tech, and a pretty serious focus on sustainability.
Yeah, we've got some material outlining this concept called Ghar Ka Lunchbox.
Exactly. And it seems to be specifically designed, or at least initially envisioned, for the office scene in Bengaluru, India.
That's right. It's a fascinating approach to solving, well, a very common problem for office workers there.
So our mission for this deep dive is to really get into it. What is Ghar Ka Lunchbox exactly? How's it supposed to work?
Who is it for? Both the customers and, importantly, the people making the food.
And why is it structured this way? Particularly, we need to understand this big push towards sustainability they seem to have. Let's jump in.
Okay, so at its heart, Ghar Ka Lunchbox aims to be, a tech-enabled tiffin service. But it's more specific than just that.
Right. It's about connecting professionals, busy people in offices, with actual home-cooked meals.
Exactly. The fundamental problem they're tackling is that, well, if you're working long hours in a city like Bengaluru, you often miss authentic, healthy, home-style food.
Yeah.
Ghar Ka Khana.
Yeah, you get tired of the usual options, right? Canteen food, restaurant takeaways.
Yeah,
They don't quite hit the mark. Maybe taste, maybe hygiene concerns sometimes.
precisely. They just don't feel like food from a home kitchen. So the solution they're proposing is to tap into this often hidden pool of talent, home chefs.
People who are great cooks but haven't really had a way to sell their food commercially.
Exactly that, giving them a platform.
Okay, so let's talk about the food itself. What are users actually getting? Is it just sort of generic Indian food?
No, the sources really stress the authenticity, the Ghar Ka Khana experience. Think regional Indian cuisines, maybe food that tastes like it came from, your home region.
That's appealing. And variety is key too, I imagine.
Definitely. They mention rotating menus, so you're not eating the same thing day in, day out. Keeps it interesting.
Makes sense. And obviously health and hygiene have to be paramount here.
Absolutely critical. The whole concept hinges on trust. So fresh ingredients, verified standards for the chefs. That's all mentioned as essential.
What about customization? Can you tweak things?
That's another interesting angle. The sources suggest, depending on the subscription level, they mention tiers like essentials, standard, premium, draft. You might be able to specify preferences.
Like less spice. Or if you have an allergy.
Exactly. Spice levels, allergies, maybe avoiding certain ingredients. Now, actually managing that kind of bespoke request across many different home kitchens, that's a real operational puzzle.
Oh, for sure. But a huge selling point if they can pull it off. Makes it feel much more personal.
It really does. Closer to actual home cooking.
Okay, so for the busy office worker, how convenient is this supposed to be?
It's designed for maximum ease. The delivery focus is very specific, right to workplaces and Bengaluru's corporate hubs. They know their target audience.
And those subscription models, daily, weekly, monthly, that simplifies things too, doesn't it?
It takes the daily decision-making off your plate. Yeah, you just set it up.
And it's all managed through an app.
Right. A user-friendly mobile app for everything. Browsing, ordering, paying, giving feedback, and, importantly, requesting the pickup for your empty container.
Yes, the containers. We have to circle back to that. But first, there's this other really significant aspect, the social enterprise angle, empowering the cooks.
Yes, this is a really powerful part of the story. It's creating a genuine economic opportunity for people, often women it seems, who have cooking skills but maybe haven't had a route to earn income from them.
And the potential income mentioned, 50,000 to €1,000 a month. That's quite substantial. It really highlights the potential for economic empowerment.
It's a significant figure, yeah.
Yeah.
It offers a path to financial independence using skills they already possess. Plus, they're talking about flexibility for the chefs
Oh, so?
through a dedicated chef app. They can manage their own menu, decide when they're available to cook, control their order capacity.
So they have some autonomy. They're not just like gig workers taking orders blindly.
Seems like the intention is more partnership-based. And presumably, Ghar Ka Lunchbox provides support training on hygiene, maybe standardizing packaging somewhat, ensuring quality control.
That consistency would be crucial coming from so many different kitchens.
Absolutely. You need reliable standards for safety and quality.
Okay, now let's pivot to what seems like a really core differentiator, the sustainability piece.
Yes, this is positioned as absolutely central to their identity, a potential major competitive advantage, instead of all the single-use plastic and foil.
Which is just mountains of waste from food delivery, isn't it?
It's a huge environmental issue. So Ghar Ka Lunchbox proposes using durable, reusable containers for the meals.
Okay, reusable containers sounds good, but how does that actually work logistically?
Well, that's where this concept of closed-loop logistics comes in. It means they're managing the entire life cycle of the container.
So they don't just drop it off and forget it.
No, not at all. An internal team, or maybe a partner, is responsible for collecting the empty containers from the offices after use.
Right. Then what?
They get transported to a central hub. There, they're professionally cleaned, sanitized to proper standards, and then redistributed back to the home chefs to be used again.
Wow. Okay, that's a much heavier operational lift than standard delivery. Tracking, collection, cleaning, redistribution.
It is significantly more complex. But the environmental payoff could be massive compared to the usual throwaway model. It directly tackles that waste problem.
And they're even thinking about electric delivery vehicles down the line.
Yeah, the sources mention that as a future goal, to further shrink their carbon footprint. It shows sustainability isn't just, a greenwashing tactic. It seems built into the operational plan.
To make all this happen, the ordering, the chef coordination, the delivery routing, and managing those containers, the tech must be pretty sophisticated.
Oh, for sure. The outline lists several key tech components. There's the app for the users, naturally, then a separate app for the chefs to manage their side, an app for the delivery partners, and crucially, a logistics management system, likely custom built, to track those containers and coordinate the whole cycle.
And a back-end system tying it all together.
Exactly. It's quite an ecosystem of software needed to orchestrate this.
And beyond the tech, you need people, partnerships.
Definitely. The home chefs are the foundation, obviously. Then delivery partners, maybe third party at first, maybe eventually their own fleet.
And that cleaning hub needs partners too, right? Professional sanitization.
Absolutely. And potentially as they grow, even suppliers for raw ingredients, maybe getting bulk deals to help the chefs.
It really is like building a whole ecosystem around lunch. Okay, so how do they plan to get the word out and grow this thing?
The usual suspects are mentioned. Digital marketing, naturally, but also more targeted things.
Like
Partnerships directly with companies, with offices in those Bengaluru corporate parks. That makes a lot of sense. Referral programs, too, get happy customers to bring in colleagues.
and actively recruiting more chefs, I suppose, to offer more choice and cover more areas.
Yes, chef recruitment is key for scaling capacity and variety. And of course, really telling that sustainability story.
Yeah, that reusable container system is a powerful narrative. People care about that stuff now.
It really sets them apart if they execute it well.
So if we boil it all down, what really makes a Ghar Ka Lunchbox stand out from, say, just ordering from a local restaurant?
Okay, several things. First, that promise of authentic, home-cooked Ghar Ka Khana quality. That specific taste and feeling.
Which is hard to get reliably from commercial places.
Exactly. Second, and this is probably the biggest one, the whole sustainability model. The reusable containers, the closed-loop logistics, that's a major departure from the norm.
Then there's the social impact empowering the home chefs.
Right, turning a traditional skill into a modern income stream. Plus, the hyperlocal delivery focus, potentially using things like DigiPin for pinpoint accuracy in complex urban areas.
Customization options, too.
Yes, those customization options add value. And just the laser focus on that specific office lunch segment, it's a very defined proposition.
Looking forward, what's the bigger picture? Where could this go?
Well, scaling is the obvious goal. Expanding coverage within Bengaluru first, hitting more office clusters, and then potentially taking the model to other Indian cities that have similar dynamics.
And the sources mention other ideas, too, beyond just delivering lunch boxes.
Yeah, things like maybe supplying raw materials to the chefs, perhaps at better prices through bulk buying, building more of a community among the chefs.
Interesting.
Also introducing maybe curated dietary plans like low-carb options or diabetic-friendly meals, and even exploring smart container tech like IoT tags to make tracking those thousands of boxes easier and more efficient.
So wrapping this up, why should you, our listener, find this interesting? What's the takeaway?
Well, I think it's a really compelling example of how you can blend something deeply traditional home cooking with cutting-edge tech and logistics.
Yeah, to create something new and potentially scalable.
And it's trying to solve multiple problems at once, isn't it? Healthy food access for urban workers, the massive waste issue from deliveries, and creating flexible income opportunities.
It really shows how a business model can potentially integrate social and environmental impact right into its core operations, rather than just, having a separate CSR department.
Exactly. It's an innovative model worth thinking about, whether you're interested in food tech, startups, sustainability, or just the future of urban services.
So there you have it, our deep dive into the Ghar Ka Lunchbox concept. based on the materials we had.
A really interesting mix of food, tech, logistics, social impact, and environmental thinking.
It definitely leaves you wondering about the execution, though. I mean, how truly challenging is it to scale that closed-loop container system effectively across a huge city, maintaining hygiene, efficiency, cost-effectiveness?
Yeah, that's the million-dollar question operationally.
And if they can crack it, could that core model, hyper-local sourcing, tech management, reusable packaging loop actually work for other things entirely? Other products, other services? Definitely something to mull over.